Hello, this is Ivana,
This is Yaw,
and you're listening to the podcast Life in Black and White.
and all the shades in between.
We share all things life, relationships, marriage, parenting, race, and much more. If you enjoy listening to us, then please follow or subscribe to this podcast. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook under Life in Black and White. Hello, my friend, and welcome back to Life in Black and White. I'm laughing because I just apparently annoyed Yao just right after he had annoyed me, so it's all good. Don't meditate.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Stop meditating. This is not the time. He has his eyes closed. He's trying to calm himself down. What was it that? Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a new year. Don't swallow when you have mic on in front of you. It's a new year. So when you need to swallow, Angel, just move your mic away. So we have a new year. Not much new happening over here. But we have lots of plans and dreams and hopes for this year that it's gonna be even better than the one before. Not that it was bad, of course, but it's always, room for improvement and for better, nicer things. Am I right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with that.
We don't have any resolutions. We don't know about you, but we don't really believe in that. And we believe that if you want to change or do something, just do it now.
Yeah.
Don't wait for New Year, because then usually you don't keep that promise or that resolution anyway when it's fixed to a certain date or time of the year. So if you feel like you want to change something, don't worry, you didn't miss the train, you didn't miss your chance. You can always make changes and grow. So that's all good. So today we would like to talk to you about how to help your spouse with mental health issues. One of the episodes we recorded in the past was called Let's Talk About Mental Health. And it was one of the most popular ones on YouTube. So we think there is so much more to explore around this subject, and especially for family members and partners and friends, because many people still don't realize that, you know what, I don't actually like the term mental health, because to me it's health regardless. Like if you have depression or anxiety, to me it's the same. Not to me, it is the same like any other physical illness, because something takes over or attacks your brain organ, one of your organs, and you can't impact it by the willpower. But I think that the term mental health implies that it's something you can control by the willpower, or it's something you just make up, and this is not the case. That's why I always cringe when I have to use the term mental health, but I use it so people know what I'm referring to. But I think also this term creates lots of stigma and shaming, because the word mental itself, it's connected to a lot of stigma. It's associated with words like crazy, or unhinged. You mental, yeah. So yeah, this is why I'll try and avoid that term during this episode. But you know what I'm talking about when I say health. To me, it's the same. What do you think, Yao? What are your thoughts?
I think in some cases if we still associate it with those ideas, it's still people still need to learn more. People and everybody goes through something at some point in their lives. So there's a lot of learning still left to be done for all of us, So yeah. I understand what you're referring to in terms of health, whether it's aligned to, and we use mental health. If there's negative connotations to it, people still need to kind of learn from it.
Yes, yeah. So we are taking our part in making a difference and change. So before we finish, I just want to ask you kindly to share this episode with anyone you think would benefit from it. And before we continue, I also wanted to mention that you can now support our podcast financially. You can start with as little as £2. It doesn't really matter. And I wanted to say that every support makes a huge difference to us. So if you would like to know more details on how you can support us, then and where your money goes, then just click on the link in the description of this episode, and it's all there. So thank you so much for every support. Yeah, it means a lot.
Thank you.
So when it comes to mental health, okay, I'll get used to the term health as such. I mentioned previously that I had experience with postpartum depression, but actually my mental health issues started before that. When I was going through a divorce, I started having panic attacks and anxiety attacks, and it was awful. At one point, I couldn't even leave the house. I would sit on the chair. I wanted to go out, but I wasn't physically able to move. And when I went out eventually, it's very hard to describe, but it feels like you're gonna die. Yes, so I had to hold on to something quickly and just basically go home. Like I must have looked like I'm passing out or that I'm drunk or something. It was absolutely awful, and I had to speak to my counselor at the time to help me. It was awful. And when I met Yao, it was fairly early after the divorce. So I think this is maybe one of the reasons why I had the depression after having the twins, because I wasn't okay completely at the time. So I don't know, it doesn't matter. Yeah, but anyway, after we had our twins, I went through very, very bad depression that ended in suicidal thoughts and thoughts about harming our kids. Nothing nice to think about. I don't want to really go there because it's very, very hard for me to remember those days, or for us, I'm sure. But one of the things that helped me, and even after the divorce, if you remember, Yao, you helped me so much. And I remember it was our second or third date when I said to you, there is something I have to tell you. Do you remember? No? Nice. We should have this conversation before. No, I told you there is something I need to tell you. And you were so worried. You were asking, what is it? What is it? And then we met, and I told you, like, I'm going through some stuff and I'm having these anxiety and panic attacks. Just so you know. Do you remember now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just wanted you to be aware right away. And you were so supportive. I don't know if you even know how much you helped me. And this is not scripted, by the way. I'm just looking at my amazing husband, telling him all this. I remember at one point I lived in a studio on my own. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And I don't know why I'm asking you remember. Of course you remember. Yeah. But I had very bad episodes, and you came and you were holding me, and you didn't ask anything, and that was so nice. And you were just holding me, waiting for it to pass, and I think that was the moment I fell in love with you, really. Like really, really, yeah.
Wow.
Don't worry, I don't want anything. This is honest, yeah, and that helped me a lot, because you just need someone to be there and sit with you in the darkness, so to speak, and then they can help you out. Yeah, what a lot of people do wrong, without meaning to, is they try and cheer the person with mental health issues up. And I know it comes from a good place, but there is no cheering up when you are going through mental health issues. This is not a bad mood. Yeah, it's an illness. It's a condition. Depends on how severe it is, of course, but it's not something you can just snap out of.
But do you sometimes think, like you said, it's coming from a good place? Would you not even want them to try? So some
No,
people may
it's very,
initially,
yeah, sorry, go on.
some people may initially find that's a way for them to kind of cope with the fact that their friend or their
Yeah,
family or whomever is dealing with something. So um, if someone's trying to cheer you up, that may be their way of trying to connect with you in that instance. That's their kind of coping mechanism to connect with you in that situation. And then, obviously, even if that doesn't have the desired effect, at least that starts the journey and stuff with having somebody with you.
that's the thing, that you don't you don't connect through this, because, and I don't blame people for not being aware that cheering up doesn't help, because it's not spoken about enough. There is lots of stigma attached to it. So this is why we're having this conversation, to help people understand how to treat someone with mental health.
But
Yeah.
it's
But because, let's say,
sorry,
I remember when I was at the lowest, but it also depends on the how
yeah,
severe. Yeah. I was at my lowest, and one of my friends uh was texting me and tried to cheer me up through some, like, funny videos and stuff. But I wasn't capable of feeling joy. Don't have
yeah,
access. Yeah.
okay,
So it made me feel even worse and more depressed, that I wasn't capable of feeling these emotions. Yeah. So she made it even worse. Yeah. So I would avoid her for some time. It's about understanding each other. Yeah. Nothing else.
yeah. But again, in that instance, your situation is unique to you.
Yeah. Maybe people
Yeah,
should ask, how can I help?
yeah.
Yeah. Rather than
What?
assuming.
Yeah. What do you need from me? Help? Do you just need me to just be here?
Yeah.
Do you need me to just give you some time and stuff by yourself?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm going to give you a timeline and I'll come back and
Yeah.
check just to see if
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
okay. But
But also, advice can be not very helpful. Yeah. Because especially when you were not there,
yeah,
you can't give advice. And people don't need advice. They know what they need to do often. And even if they don't, someone who hasn't been there can't help them with their advice, most of the time anyway. So it's very, very hard to suppress this need to try and fix and help. Yeah,
solutionize
yeah.
and yeah,
It is hard because it's our natural reflex when someone we love struggles.
yeah.
But it's very important not to offer any advice, to just listen, because these people need to talk more than anything and feel hurt. Yeah.
Mm.
It's like you knew what I needed. Yeah. When I had depression, how did you know? You never asked me, what do you need?
But I think even in that instance, like I said, from my perspective, you didn't need me to solutionize. You just
Yeah.
needed somebody there.
Yeah. But how did you know that?
You know, sometimes you just feel it in that situation, feel it in that, you know, does it make sense for me to turn around and say something? And you know fully well, me, to a certain extent, if my kids come up to me and say they've got a problem or something like that, all I want to do is try and help them. But sometimes it's not my place to help. It's actually my place to just try and give a level of support, but then allow them to sort it out. So
Yeah.
it was just in that moment I probably just realized it's not my place to turn around and try and answer because I didn't know everything.
Yeah.
So I gave you that kind of room to kind
Mm.
of say what you needed, or even in that instance, not say what you needed. And maybe it's just a hug and stuff that you needed, and just nothing really more than that.
Yeah.
You'd
Yeah.
have to feel it. I'd have to know you. You'd have to know the situation. There's so many different variances
Yeah. And
that
you
you'd have to
already knew
work
from
with.
experience that I just need you to be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. So when I was going through a dark time, Yao never tried to cheer me up or say, "Oh, you have a lovely baby, lovely babies in our case," or "snap out of it," or "you should be grateful." Nothing like that. And I think that helped massively, because if he had said things like that, I wouldn't have felt understood. So you were the only one who I felt understood and was there and who knew. So if you were not that person, I don't know how would have, how that would have ended. But that was crucial. Yeah, that you allowed me to feel what I needed to feel and gave me the compassion. I remember one evening I spoke about this in my book, when I was one of it was one of the darkest days, and we went out for a walk with the twins, and I think I was crying. I don't remember, but I was just telling you, I was offloading how desperate I felt. And you said, look, you spend with the babies every day, 12 hours a day, it was at the time, on my
Mhm.
own, in a flat where the building had no lift, so it was hard to get out.
Yeah, I remember.
The boys were colicky, they were screaming all the time, like literally all the time. We had no sleep, we had no family around, we had no friends because we've just moved to a new town, Welling Garden City. And you said, of course you're feeling low. And that was so huge at the time. I don't know if you realize. And that took so much pressure off in the moment. And I allowed myself for the first time probably to give myself some compassion and to allow myself to feel whatever I felt. Yeah. So that was massive. That was pivotal moment in my depression story. Oh,
It's nice to hear.
yeah.
I mean, obviously,
You didn't read my
no.
book. I speak about it.
I
Nice.
I co-edited the
Yeah.
book, and it had to be done again afterwards, right?
But it was a long time ago you read it. That's true. You don't remember. Or maybe I just put it in the second edition that went out now. So
Thank you.
sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, the point is that to allow the person to feel what they feel, that's very important. And again, how did you find that in you? Because you could have easily, because when I hear stories or read stories from other moms who go through this and their husbands don't get it, and they tell them things like I said, oh, just put yourself together, yeah, snap out of it. Are you crazy? Yeah. It's very common. So, what's the difference? It's about how people were brought up, or
Okay.
the mixture of lots of factors. It doesn't matter maybe why that is. The point is lots of people don't get it. And it doesn't just go for postpartum mental health, but any mental health or health
Mhm.
issue. So I'm very glad we have this conversation now, because hopefully we help to break the stigma right now, and help more people understand that it's not something you can control. The way I describe depression, and it's very different to what you find online or what midwives tell you, the official definition of this illness. It's so unrealistic, I'd say. When you read it, you don't find yourself in it even when you have it. Yeah, because I knew the definition,
Yeah.
but when it hit me, I didn't recognize it. So there's something not right here, yeah, obviously. But I define it as something, it's like a darkest place you can get to. A depression, any depression, is the darkest place you can get to. I can't imagine any lower point. It's nothing. It's emptiness. It's nothing. Yeah, rock bottom, and you have no control over your thoughts or deeds anymore, and that makes it very dangerous. You have these random thoughts and feelings, or thoughts popping in your head, or thoughts, and that scares you. Like I had these thoughts of hurting our kids. Bloody scares you. Can you imagine? And you don't want to have these thoughts, but you can't. You just can't help it. Like something implants like these thoughts or emotions in you, and it's not you anymore. It's just shell of you, just an empty shell with no life. And if you are lucky to function, you'll function on autopilot.
Yeah.
There is no emotion. It's like your machine doing things on autopilot without any emotion or feeling any life in you. Yeah, so I think that's the best description of the severe cases. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you really, at one point I was convinced that everyone would have been better off without me. And this is also something that I couldn't understand earlier. It's not it's not something you think to seek attention or to make a point. No, you're so deeply convinced this is the only solution for everyone. You believe it like you believe the sun comes out every morning. Yeah. Um, so that's nothing worse I can't imagine. What's worse, There's no worse feeling. So yeah, what can you do to help? Just be there. Just be there and let them feel this. That's all you can do, really.
What was that first step? That moment? What's that? I know you're saying that. Okay, I helped support you to a certain extent. I was there, even if I was just there for a hug or a cuddle or whatever it was, and
That
things.
you made me feel that there's nothing wrong with me. That was very, very important. It helped. That there is nothing wrong with me. Yeah, I'm not failing. I'm not weird. I'm not crazy. I'm just having very, very normal, expected, understandable emotions.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you? What did you feel like? There was a point where you were strong enough, and I don't want to say strong enough because
Yeah.
that's
Sometimes you just want to be weak,
yeah, that's
and you
what I mean.
need to be weak. Yeah.
And but I want to make it clear, like there is well, me personally, I don't feel that saying that having a mental health issue is a sign of weakness, because it absolutely
No,
isn't.
it's like you have cancer. You're not weak. It's the same. Yeah.
It's a it's a it's something that's happening to you
Yeah.
that you just cannot manage, or
Yeah.
you cannot deal with and things. But you also needed help.
You mean like professional help?
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%. But I'd say that when we talk about medication, I'm very fond of medication because it can save your life when you can't function. They can save you because they help you function, but they don't heal you. Yeah. They help you function. They help you get out of bed, stop crying all the time, and start to heal. Yeah.
yeah,
Because I was at that point where I wasn't able to function. I was just an empty shell, like I said. So without antidepressants, I wouldn't be strong enough to do anything. So I started taking them, and that helped me to take steps towards recovery, you can say. But there was no like a clear path. I did this step by step process, and I was fine. It was lots of things. And like I said, compassion, having the right partner or husband help makes all the difference, or people around you, people you talk to. But also when I started to talk about how I felt with other people apart from Yao, I think that changed a lot. Yeah.
mm,
When I stopped feeling I had to hide,
mm.
that made all the difference. And now I overshare maybe sometimes, but it's my therapy. It's my way of being okay. Yeah. There are still moments when I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Uh, we still have three little children,
Our cherubs.
cherubs. And now baby I was going through this screaming stage. I don't know why all our kids have to scream.
Mm,
So, but unlike in the past, now I tell myself, of course I'm feeling if I have a bad day. Yeah, I don't beat myself up. Sometimes, yeah,
mm,
depends. I'm still a person. I'm still a human, so I do have guilt and all that stuff. But most of the time, I don't feel bad about having completely human and normal emotions. I don't think I'm some extreme. I love my kids. They're my priority. Always will be. And but I'm still just a human.
Do you think that conversation with the GP took a lot? It took a big, was it a big step to go
No,
and
because
see
at the time
someone?
I was already on the journey, I'd say. So it
Good.
wasn't that I went there while I was not ready. I was ready
Yeah.
mentally.
And if someone isn't ready, but they may need some professional help, some medication.
Oh yeah, that's why I always recommend to speak to someone you trust first, because it's not easy to speak to a professional, especially stranger, because you think they would judge you, they would not understand. So of course it's hard to go and seek help. That's why I always say it's best to start with someone you trust, and they can help you to go to a GP. They can help you to take the steps. But we also have to mention, as awful as it sounds, so many professionals, let their patients down. So this is awful that so many people sought help, and they were disappointed. Yeah. So sometimes speaking to the right person can be more than speaking to a professional. It depends. Some of them are amazing, some of them are not. It's what it is. So we shouldn't see them as gods. So if they tell you what's wrong with you, which I heard happened many times, then doesn't mean that just because they're doctors that they're right. Yeah. They just you just came across the wrong person. That's all it is. Keep looking.
That's what I was going to ask about. Is if you who knows yourself, who's going through that journey to a certain extent, you feel that you're still out of balance, and I'm not talking from a medical kind of point of view, but if you feel that what you're hearing and what you're getting still isn't good enough,
Yeah.
sometimes you may just need to kind of push on, or have your
Yeah.
trusted friend or your
Usually,
partner
yeah,
or
yeah,
someone
yeah,
like who is in that circle that you can trust
yes,
to kind of support you
yeah,
to move forward and maybe see someone else
yeah,
if you don't get
yeah,
that.
yeah. And what I find, and I heard many times, is that family is the worst, or family members are the worst people to speak to,
But do we not need to
because they
be
are very, very emotionally involved. They want the best for you. They trigger us more than anyone else. So it's usually, I'm not saying what your situation is with your parents, but in most cases, from what I've heard, it's not the greatest choice. Yeah. Or it's not the greatest choice. It's not great to speak to them as first choice often. I'm not saying this is the rule.
I was going to say, because do we not need to be a little bit careful of who we are turning around and saying is a good choice and who's not a good choice? Because at the end of the day, what we do want to do is make sure that people who are going through
Yeah.
these journeys, they've got avenues,
Yeah.
and we don't want our kind of biases
Yeah.
to kind of
No, it's not my experience. I didn't even speak to my parents until much later, but from what I heard, and I heard this so many times, that moms with depression spoke to their parents, they completely dismissed them, and they
okay.
lost faith in, and they started believing there's nothing wrong with them, because if my mom says it, they must be truth. Yeah. This is what I mean. Like, if this is the case for you, you just need to speak to someone else. That's all it is. Yeah.
So the message, and if I'm wrong, just
Yeah.
turn around and say the message here is: if you're not getting what you feel is the right thing for you, and you're still in a dark place,
Yeah.
you're still not seeing, just see someone else,
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
whomever it
Yeah.
is,
It
whether
can be
it's
a stranger.
parent,
Sometimes it's
whoever,
best.
yeah. But just carry on that journey. You've taken that first step. If you don't get what you need, whether you've got that trusted person and stuff beside you who can help you, support you in that journey, great. If you haven't, but don't stop. You started the
Yeah.
journey. You need to kind of
Yes.
try and for primarily for you to just
Yeah.
keep moving on that journey. And that first step is always the biggest step, unfortunately, and it's probably the most hardest step that you'll
Yeah.
make. But once you start, keep going.
Yeah. You
Keep.
don't stop once you start. It's not possible. Our cherub just came. He's just,
I did want to say something
yes.
while going through this.
Baby Yaw distracted you a bit.
He's just chilling, so why not?
Well,
Why
use
not?
it. Yeah. Let's use that moment.
There's
But yeah, then you look at them when they're, harmless. And it's just, makes you forget a lot of things that You
when they,
you thought you never forget. So
they're cute moments.
yeah, everything
Which,
happens for a reason.
yeah, as I mentioned, there was something that I did want to kind of bring up in this is maybe, and it's out there. I'm not saying that it's not out there, but it is definitely out there. Men talking and men going through mental health issues, and I have to say, um, I think there are more things out there and stuff at the moment for men to kind of have groups and have kind of companions or mates and stuff who do talk a little bit more than maybe was necessarily what would happen in, say, my dad's time or the older generation's time. But overall, it's just something that whether you're man, woman, whatever you are, we all need that space to be able to kind of turn around and speak our truth. You know,
Yes.
those times when you're going through stuff and you're trying to kind of piece it, if you really can't piece it, sometimes you just need to air it, because even airing it allows you to kind of review it from maybe an objective kind of point of view. When you get those eureka moments where it's something that you've looked at, you've seen, and it's just like it's just on the tip of your tongue. And I'm not saying that depression is this, but I'm saying that the journey also includes trying to kind of open up your options, so it may not necessarily just fall directly on you to try and solve the problem, because in some cases we just need something else to kind of give us that step, that
Yeah.
step to talk, that step to kind of move on, that step to just
Yeah.
air.
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up, the men and mental health, because it's more stigmatized than anything
Definitely.
else now than women. So thank you for sharing that. And I have a good story on that note. Um, Once, when was that? Maybe 2 years ago, 1 year ago, I don't know. But I was going to Edinburgh. I was on the train station, at the train station with all three boys, and they were just going through. It was one of those days. I think I was tired, didn't get much sleep because of baby. They were going mental at the station,
Yeah.
and I felt like I'm gonna lose it in a minute. Yeah. So it's not the greatest, situation to be in. You were at work. I don't know where I was going. I don't know. It doesn't matter. And then um one of the, of course, I'm not gonna mention any names, but one of the school dads, I just saw him in the distance. Yeah, not distance, like because I was in the, what you call it, waiting room,
Right.
and he was standing outside with his kids. Yeah, and I don't know him that well. We just say hi and bye. um, but the initial thought was, oh, you know, not now, not now. I'm not ready to have this small talk. Yeah, but then I was like, okay, fuck it, like. So I just went straight to him. I started crying, and just said, "Can I have a hug?" And it was such a lovely moment. It was amazing. Yeah, and he was so nice, and we, we connected in the moment on a level, like you don't usually connect with people.
Yeah.
uh, and I was fine in that moment. I just had a little cry. I felt like I don't have to hide. I don't have to pretend I'm okay when I'm not.
Mm.
Um, did I tell you this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did, but it's been a while. So yeah, it's moments like this. It's bloody hard to just start crying. But now, like even when I need to cry in public, I just do it. I don't feel ashamed anymore. It's not like I do it every day. When I have the need, like I'm really stressed or kids push my buttons, I don't care. Like if there is millions of people around me, I start crying. And usually you find that people around you are so supportive,
Yeah.
and you help them to create safe space to do the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is one of the reasons I do this, that I'm an open book now. uh, I help others, you know I help them see, oh, it's okay, yeah, to, if you have the need to cry now, why not? Or you need to vent. I vent all the time. And it's not to complain or to wallow in bad moments, but it's to release, and help others see it's okay to, complain, to vent, to let it out. Because when you let it out, only then you can create space for more positive emotions. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this is the key to just open and honest with each other. And that goes for our loved ones, that goes for everyone.
Is it? It's not. It's not always easy, is it?
No, of
To
course it's
do
not
it.
easy. It's bloody hard.
But yeah, I
Because I
totally.
would remember I was struggling in silence for how long, yeah?
Yeah.
I felt like I had to pretend I was okay when I wasn't. And it was so lonely, yeah? It
Yeah.
was so lonely. Um, so, yeah, it's not great. It's a short-term solution.
So
And I think this
the
episode we can call it "Know How to Help a Spouse with Mental Health Issues, but a loved one."
yeah,
Yeah,
I like
I
that.
think it's better.
And talk,
Yeah,
please. Say what you need. Speak your truth. Say what you need to say. Um, find that initial. I again don't want to say courage because it's not weakness on the other side of things. Just be you. Let it out. If you're ever near one of us and things, we've got you.
yes,
Don't give it a second thought because who knows? It may be us doing it to you and stuff at some point and stuff as well. Just no, just feel free to just be you. You know, where I truly believe, and this is one of the reasons why we do this, is to put out into the world that it's okay to be you. It's okay to kind of step forward and bring your true self and stuff. Because you know what? It's amazing when you do because you give the courage and you give the opportunity, like you said, that open space to
yeah,
be for other people to see it's okay to be
yeah,
themselves, whatever that is in that
yeah,
moment, right?
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
perfect, brilliant.
Oh, I think this is perfect way to wrap it up, or perfect moment before we put our cherubs to bed, and the madness can start.
Yeah, exactly. We
We'll see how
how
how,
we
how
get on.
cheerful we'll be now in an hour. So I'm back,
Please just go to bed.
but it is what it is, again, like, we are transparent with this, and I think it's good. Like, some people might think, oh, no, we don't complain. We releasing, and we helping others to do the
Feel
same.
feel free to do the same.
Yeah,
Just must once we really get out of heads of there's people just kind of watching you to see how you are and whether you fail and it's not failing. I absolutely truly believe there is so much in this life that we learn as we go along,
mm.
and whether we learn it from family, we learn it from friends, we learn it just from you said it could be a complete stranger
Yeah,
who offers you that kindness and that moment to
yeah,
be you.
yeah,
That can be a life changing moment, right?
yeah. You remember when we got here, the lady?
Oh
I have to mention, like, the opposite side of uh, other side of the coin. Yeah? Like, how simple act of kindness or not kindness can push you over the edge. Yeah.
yeah.
When we moved to Scotland, it was just a few days after. One lady had a go at me because I accidentally parked in her driveway. Not driveway. What was it? It was a bit.
It was just outside her
Yeah, yeah.
drive things, wasn't
I
it?
didn't know it's a bit different in Scotland than it was in England. The marks on the road, like where you can't park. So I wasn't familiar with it, but at that point, baby was really a baby. I was sleep deprived. I was a mess. New country, new people, and
The
I
door,
was,
you left the door open because you were
yeah,
rushing to
yeah. And
take the
she
kids.
thought I was being a diva because I'm leaving the door open in the car. So I was like, what the hell? But no, anyway, she had a massive go at me, and I left in tears. Um, and imagine I'm a single mom. Say, yeah, I have no one at home waiting for me to cuddle me. You know, this can push you over the edge, like when you are a new mom, especially fragile. So I know sometimes it's hard to be kind,
Mm.
but it can change someone's or save someone's life. So it's just a simple thing, like things like having like offering a smile to someone, or if someone pisses you off, smile at them
I've got to
if you
say,
can.
even in that moment, it's easy for me to turn around and say, "Oh, let me go and speak to such and such because it was way out of order and things." But it's not. That's not the solution in this instance and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and you had people around you, like friends, mums, and stuff, who
Yeah.
also gave you support and things as well.
Yeah.
With what you're going through, and I think what you said there, the kindness of, even if there is the odd individual and stuff who's
Yeah.
a bit of an idiot or not very nice in
Or
a
had a
moment,
bad day
and
themselves.
yeah,
Yeah.
they could be going
I'm
through
sure
some stuff
it's what
and
it was.
things.
Yeah.
Um, if kindness, if you see more kindness than that, it just sends you the right way.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. 100%. So yeah, I think we covered everything you wanted. I'm very happy with this episode, Angel.
thank you.
Is that your credit or what?
I don't know. I'm here.
You're saying it like, okay.
What, like I've
Like,
done?
yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
no,
All the hard
absolutely,
work.
absolutely not.
I know, I know.
You,
It just sounded like it. Maybe
you,
just for me though.
I was just being sarcastic and yowzy funny, not very funny.
You yell so funny. Okay, my friend. I hope you enjoyed this episode and that it helped you in some way. We would love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
You can message us on our social media channels that you can find in the description of this episode or any other episode, or you can send us an email. All the information is in the description of every episode or on our
Please,
website.
please, please, please. Obviously, said follow, subscribe. We're on
Share.
yeah, we're on different platforms and things, but primarily your feedback and your reviews and things absolutely mean the world to us, because we can learn from these things, and hopefully, if there are areas that you would like us to talk about
Or improve.
or even just you know run through, because there are so many areas that people would like to go through, just mention it to us.
Yeah.
We can always do that, right?
Yes, 100%. So thank you so much for listening. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who would enjoy it too. And until next time, see you next time.
Take care.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.